Hooker High School is top of the line for us Hookarians, hookies, I don't want to say hookers for obvious reasons. But then she finishes up with, go hookers. She tried. It's a location, not a vocation, is the official town motto of Hooker, Oklahoma. And yes, you can buy merch with that and more at the Chamber of Commerce website. Can I interest you in a once a hooker, always a hooker tee? How about support your local hooker? Or you know what? Support the youth baseball team with a Hooker Horny Toads shirt. Yes, that's the team name. One of them even has a "He built it and we came" on the back to commemorate their field. These people are spicy, I tell you. Speaking of the youth, they start them young at Hooker Elementary School, which many graduate to presumably higher levels of hooking at Hooker High School, which is right here. Ah yes, here are some young hookers in training.
Oh god.
And it is a highly rated educational establishment, mind you. Zusi says, Hooker High School is top of the line for us Hookarians, hookies, I don't want to say hookers for obvious reasons. But then she finishes up with, go hookers. She tried. My favourite thing about Hooker High School, though, is that it's smack at the end of Johns Street, which I couldn't make up if I tried. The First Christian Church is across the street to save the children from all of this, but it is competing with First Baptist Church of Hooker on the other side, which might be more explicitly inclusive towards the ladies of the night. But a few blocks away, it's the Hooker Church of Christ that scored the URL hookerchurchofchrist.org. Praise the Lord. What a domain name win. I have to admit, it competes with my ownership of fingeringho.info. I gotta up my game. 2 bonus things I like about Hooker. 1. The RV park is called Hooker Up. I read that and emitted an instant, 2. This is an actual picture of the Hooker High School girls basketball team. If having Hooker on your jersey wasn't enough, they're called the Hooker Lady Dogs. At this point, just hurry up and call them the whore bitches. There is a mountain in California called Potato Peak, and the Google reviews are filled with people going nuts for the sheer number of spuds appearing on this mountaintop. VJ even found fresh chips sprouting out of the ground. Jacob found the Japanese purple spuds and had them for lunch. Jonathan found nothing but potatoes as far as the eye can see. Barath is allergic to potatoes, so 3 stars, which is fair, given his condition. Richard found a small child throwing potatoes at hikers and shared this picture, which he clearly took himself. Jorge is potato, and Scott had the potatoes fly completely over his head.
I drove all the way here and hiked for 4 days trying to find potatoes. All the other reviews are lying. There are no potatoes. Stay away. It's just a bunch of desert rocks and sand. Would rate 0 stars if possible. I want a refund from nature for all my wasted energy.
Tony clarifies, however, that Scott must have been very lost because his car got stuck in the potatoes, and he recommends nothing less than 4-wheel drive. Otherwise, I assume you end up in MASH.
Oh god.
I'll be taking his recommendation when I visit, and I'll be on the lookout personally for Dutch fingerlings. I found quite possibly the loneliest bar in the United States in a Wyoming town called Spotted Horse. Actually, with a population of 2, where at least one of them must be running the bar, it may not even qualify as a town. I mean, look at this place. I know Wyoming is famously low density, and they like it that way, but blimey. It's so lonely that the nearest town is aptly named Recluse. And the Reclusians? Recluses? Recluses! Only have an elementary school and a post office, and have to drive 35 miles to the nearest grocery store. So before you think the Spotted Horse Bar was a bad business idea, population of 207 minus 31 elementary school students, there are 176 potential boozers a 12-minute drive away from a cold beer, and no competition. That said, the only picture I could find of a person anywhere near the Spotted Horse Bar was this guy, in the lap of a fake miner dude. Okay, so I found a couple more after that, but I had to scroll for a mighty long time by 21st century standards to find one, so this remains the de facto only picture. Despite that, it's got a good amount of reviews, and very happy customers thrilled to find a cold beer and a hot burger out here. It appears to be run, or at least have been run by a couple, I surmise from the reviews, named Jerome and Bessie, but I can't confirm. One review in particular grabbed my attention.
I was born and raised right behind Spotted Horse Bar, until my father lost our home, and that's when I found out how cutthroat and heartless everyone around there is. Known most of them my whole life, but they didn't hesitate for a second to help kick us off our land and pilfer our stuff. Beautiful place, ugly people. The only good-hearted one was Jerome, God rest his soul.
If Spotted Horse's population is 2, and the only good-hearted one was Jerome, is Bessie cutthroat, heartless, and pilfering? Wait, do you hear that? It must be a message from a couple of parakeets wearing rabbit ears. Welcome to Swingle, baby! Oh yeah, it's the place for swingles to get their swingle on. And you better, because you only Yolo Bypass once. I think I'm doing this right. This masterpiece of civic titling is courtesy of the I-80 in California, previously frequented by Bay Area techies, now all laid off and too poor to overcrowd Tahoe. To be honest, I have no idea why Swingle is even on the map. It's literally on the border of Davis, a significant college town, so why it's not just part of Davis, I don't know. Because if you try to buy a house in Swingle, surprise, it's just Davis. There isn't even a sign for it when you're driving on the road, which is so disappointing. There's just this billboard for tattoo removal, which honestly is kind of smart given UC Davis's 35,000 or so students, because after a night of being Swingle, chances are this billboard will be handy down the line. The Yolo wildlife area is a huge scam, by the way. 4.4 stars out of 74 reviews. Bullshit. It's a dried out marsh with a highway running through it where no one stops, except to take pictures of the YOLO sign. I've travelled through the land of Swingle many a time and I have spotted 0 wildlife and 0 reason for wildlife to be there. But I could be wrong, because maybe, as Suki writes, it's only great if you have patience, which, potentially fair enough. Welcome to Norphlet, Arkansas, which is the first time in the history of language that the letters of the alphabet have been arranged this way. Norphlet, however, was originally called Jesse in the 1880s, but it was soon renamed after some rando called Norphlet Goodwin. The founders of the local post office couldn't read the flowy cursive of this smug doofus of a name, and they thought it was Norphlet, with an OR instead of an AU, instead. And thus, the post office ended up issuing all their papers as Norphlet, and I guess Mr. Goodwin was enough of a nobody that it just didn't matter in the end. But I'm sorry, imagine being a post office and getting your own town name wrong. I mean, what the f***? Reading and place names are kind of a huge part of your job. How do you mess that up? Sounds like these people needed those cursive workbooks we all had in school. A couple miles up the road from this typo is Smackover. Sadly, no saucy name interpretation, despite how it looks. It was just the local English speakers getting lazy-lipped with the name the French settlers had originally given it in the 17th century, sumac couvert, meaning covered in sumac bushes, which was not a creative name, frankly. Look here, Alain, it is couvert in sumac bushes. Sacre bleu, François, you have done it. You have named the place.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah, no, Smackover is way better in my opinion, but I confess, chances are property prices are potentially lower than they would have been with Sumac Couvert. What can I say, the elites have no taste. Then again, Floyd's Knobs is called Floyd's Knobs, and is full of the chateaus that are clearly owed to Smackover. Chateau de Chambord. How fancy. Party at the Chateau de Chambord, that's for sure. In Floyd's Knobs, champagne will not be the only thing flowing. Now, Smackover was an oil town, and there are so many oil and drilling related businesses. There's the very sensuously named Short Stroke Pump Repair. Someone gave this place 5 stars for friendly staff. Get it? Come on, that's good. Friendly staff at Short Stroke Pump Repair. Come on. No? It's only beaten by the most recent review, which is from Rachel, who claims she can't really remember going to this church and gives Short Stroke Pump Repair 3 stars. Oh dear, Rachel. Maybe too many short strokes with the pump. Or pumps with a short stroke? Or strokes with a short pump? F*** it, whatever it is. Maybe she needs a repair. Maybe I need one. Likely Fire Department. Well, is it or isn't it? It's kind of important to be sure about that kind of thing. Likely General Store arguably sounds about right, but Likely Fire Department needs to hurry up and self-identify so folks on fire know where to go. Most likely Cafe is the surest of them all, so you have a 90% chance of there being coffee and a pastry here. As for Likely Community Church, what could be the alternative exactly? Look at it. Should rename to definitely Community Church. Fun fact, at one particular point in Google Street View, you can get the Likely General Store to read as Likely General Stotor. These are the kinds of things that knock my socks off. It truly pays to be easy to please. Life is better this way. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like. I hear the exchange rate between likes and karma is pretty decent these days. And if you really liked it, well then, may I interest you in subscribing. Thanks for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!